So this one's
And we're live.
This one's for an audience of one, and I totally forgot, so I made this one really quickly with one verse. So, and I think Jack it'll be his favorite one. Who can make a podcast that only talks shit? Crack a few jokes and a movie review or two. The Ramblecast. The Ramblecast can, because we mix it with love and we make the world feel good.
I gotta say, that might have been the best one yet.
Yeah.
I liked it. It was catchy.
Yeah, if I would have had the time, I might have put in the, everything it takes now, but it's like, yeah.
Satisfying and delicious. You can even eat the dishes. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, right now it's just me and Nick. Chris is on his way. Matt is off this week. So it's just, and I'm back for the first time in, 3 weeks, 2 weeks. It's been a while. Been an interesting ride. Just so you think I wasn't slacking the first week. It was Sunday night, the week before everybody was coming out for the get together, and I had this burning pain in my ankle, my right ankle, like at 4 o'clock in the morning. I'm like going, "Oh, did I get bit by something?" Because it was burning, it hurt, and so I went, "All right, I'm really tired. I'm going back to sleep." So it could have been a snake in my bed. I don't know. So I get up the next morning. It's Mother's Day, and I can't walk. I can't walk. I can't put any weight on and my legs just swelling up like crazy. So Monday, I go to Duke Urgent Care, and I take a test, and they said, "Oh yeah, you got a blood clot." I go, "Okay," because I've had one before. I go, I was told I'd never have one again because of the medicine I took. They go, "Well, you got another one." He goes, "But I can't prescribe any medicine because we don't have an ultrasound to verify it." So after spending 2 hours at Duke Urgent Care, I had to go to Wake Med and spend another 6 hours there. And the lady that did the ultrasound goes, "No, you don't have a blood clot." She goes, "I can't tell you. I'm not supposed to say anything, but I don't see anything. You don't have a blood clot." And she said, "I'm new. Let me go get some." And they both looked at it and go, "Yeah, you don't have one." I go, "Then what's wrong with my leg? I can't walk." I was literally in a wheelchair because I couldn't move around. That turns out the doctor came in, "Yeah, you get a blood clot." So now I'm taking the medicine. And so the medicines makes me nauseous. I mean, I have to take these 2 pills a day, and I'm getting sick to my stomach, and it just sucks. But I can't use it. I can't, if I cut myself, that could be a bad thing. But yeah, that was, and then I went to we had the get together. We had the Durham Bulls game, and Cindy parked so far away on accident. She was, I feel so bad. And I'm walking with a cane. And by the time I got there, my leg was like, and it still hurts, but not as bad as it did. It's killing me, but not as bad as it was. But yeah, that was my one story. And then last Wednesday morning, my wife wakes me up at 4:30 a.m. said, get up. My oldest daughter, she goes, she has to have her appendix out. I go, "Oh, okay. All right." And so I'm getting up, I'm walking. I go, "Wait a minute. Is that a thing? Wait, where did this come from?" Because it just came out of the blue. Because she just gave birth a couple weeks ago, a month ago. And so she had to have her appendix taken out. It didn't burst, but it was to the point where it was going to cause her problems. So they took it out. She was back home after 3 hours after the surgery.
Yeah, I figure I think it is a fairly simple procedure nowadays.
Yeah. But it was funny because and I hadn't slept the night before, so I'm like going, because I couldn't sleep because my foot was killing me. So I go, "There's no way I'll be able to stay awake for this." But I go back to the emergency room. I never actually got a room. They just would wheel me in. "Okay, you got to go," because it was so busy. Go back out, go back in. It was $4,000 just for the visit.
Damn.
And that's not counting the ultrasound and everything else. $4,000 just for the visit.
It's insane. It's like, go ahead.
Like I said, I didn't have a room.
Right.
Visit, yeah. They'd wheel me in. They go. One time they're trying to pronounce my last name. I heard him say Gladfelter. I don't know if I'm saying this right. So then they said, "Jack G." I said, "That's me." But yeah, $4,000 and never had a room. Never had a room.
Well, it's all nuts. I mean, thank God you have insurance these days, because it's like, when I had a little electric scooter in Los Angeles, I wrecked it, on the first day I had it because the turning was so fast on it. And I sliced the back of my heel. And I felt fine, and I cleaned it with alcohol and put some Band-Aids on that. I was like, I'd be fine. But, as a couple of days went by, I kind of went, you know what? It is a pretty deep cut. I took a picture of it and sent it to our doctor friend in Canada. And I said, what do you think about this? And she was like, you should go just because you might have nicked your Achilles tendon, of where that is. And you don't want to do that, So I was like, fine. And then I went, and sure enough, they took x-rays. They did all this shit. And then they gave me 6 stitches. And I want to say that was like $4,000. And I was like, are you fucking serious? Like,
yeah, I luckily I have insurance because I couldn't afford that.
Mm-hmm.
It just killed. I mean, like, again, like Brady said, never got a dinner.
Yeah,
I'm old enough to know that. But it was just like, it was so, I go, and there was one poor guy in there. He didn't speak English. And he was like, he came in just wailing in pain. He's holding his stomach. And he literally he was still waiting there like an hour and a half later. And he was moaning the whole time. Now you always wonder if they're moaning because they want to get in sooner.
Right.
Because it's basically, unless you're having a heart attack, you have to wait. It's first come, first serve. Because the last time I was there for Cindy, this one lady was like, "Oh!" She would just scream the top of her lungs, and we all go,
"Yeah." Okay. Unless bones coming through the skin, we don't care, buddy.
Yeah, we're always say it's a 10. Your pain level, it's a 10. I know when I got hit by the puck, I said, I don't know, it's about a 2 or 3. I sat there for 8 hours because I didn't say it was a 10. And I went up there like, I go, you remember when I said it was a 2? It's now a 10. My face hurts.
Yeah, I got the good old call from the doctor yesterday. Yeah, that it's time to schedule my first colonoscopy.
Oh yeah.
Everyone's rotor.
Everyone's. I remember my first one. I was stressing out. I was like freaking out because I remember they said, "Oh, you'll be under before we." I've told the story before. You'll be under before we insert. I said, okay, all right.
Yeah.
And because it's a long device, and they go roll over. I go, I'm not asleep yet. And that's the last thing I remember. I didn't, but it's the worst thing about it is the stuff you have to drink.
Right.
The night before. Because the last one I took is when I passed out, and I had to. They wanted to do a colonoscopy and down my throat too. They had brought this big jug in. I go, and they go, yeah, your colonoscopy's at 8. You need to drink all this by 8 o'clock. I go, that's in 6 hours. I go, I can't drink all this. I go, if it was beer, I couldn't drink. If like your beer thing, right. I couldn't drink all this. Yeah. And I'm like, just kept down it. And then of course it makes you go to the bathroom. And so I'm getting up every 2 minutes going to the bathroom. And finally I said, can I take, because there was a shower in my room. I go, can I take a shower? Because I don't want to go in there as dirty as I feel, right?
Yeah.
And then it's funny because then when I was in recovery, it was a big recovery room. And the nurse woke me up. She goes, you're snoring. I go, oh, I'm sorry. Because I haven't slept in like 36 hours because you guys don't let you sleep here. You wake me up every 2 minutes. That's okay. But yeah, it's no big deal. I know people stress about it, but you got to do it because you got to do it.
I asked the person, making the appointment for me, like, well, how long is the procedure? And they said, oh, it's not long. They said, like you'll probably be in and out in 3 hours. Oh, okay. Because I was thinking like it would hold off or whatever. And they're like, no, like you'll get there. We'll put you under, and then you're out and good to go. I was like, oh, all right.
You're gonna have to fart when they're done. When you wake up, there's farting involved.
I'm sure there's a lot of gas, air pressure they had to put in there to.
Yeah. But because I know that when I went when they were going down my throat, the guy last thing he said to me, he goes, I'll probably do your throat second.
Why do you need, what? I don't understand the throat. Yeah, okay. Was he just joking? Or,
yeah, they were trying to figure out something. They were trying to, they couldn't figure out what was wrong with me. And they said that, and I said, huh? But anyway.
Yeah, I'm hoping it makes me lose a few pounds. So
yeah, like I said, if you're listening to this and you're at that age where you're 40, right? 40 is when you're first supposed to take it, 40, 45.
Yeah, they've kind of gone back and forth because like I know like 10 years ago it was 45, and then they moved it to 40, and then they moved it back to 45. And then but like just I did my checkup, my annual checkup, and then the doctor was like, "Oh, like yeah, I'm gonna go," and he put me down for all these different tests. You know, he's like, "Well, because I don't go to the doctor, so it's like, well, might as well just load you up while we can." You know, so I'm going to like a dermatologist in July. I'm going to I've got to get my shoulder looked at because I've got frozen shoulder in this one. And like, yeah, I'm basically like for the next few months I'll just be in and out of different doctors. So I was like, all right, fine.
Yeah, again, it's no. Yeah, Randy says they won't let you drive or take a taxi, Uber home.
Well, I don't know anybody.
Yeah, you have to have. Yeah, my wife came with me, but it's funny as I said, I'm not taking the wheelchair because everybody else is being wheeled in a wheelchair. I go, I'm walking out of here, and I didn't walk because they put you under. I mean, you're under, so yeah,
you walk like John Wayne.
I certainly did, buddy. But yeah, Randy's right that they will not let you drive home, or they want to make sure you have somebody because they don't want to get sued. They don't want to release you, and they don't want to release you and you rear in somebody.
Right.
You see what I did there?
Yeah. Yeah. I guess I'll just be waiting around the hospital then because I don't have anybody picking up. I don't know anybody here.
What about your neighbors?
No, not really. You know,
okay.
The thing is that they're just as dangerous. They're all in their 80s. So.
Speaking of old age, yeah. I was going to save this for Chris. Should we save this for Chris?
We can save it for Chris. I got some of this we talk about.
All right, go ahead.
So my ex has been on Tinder, which is a common occasion. It's usually for hookups or just people who want sex and that's it. And I've been on different ones over the years, and they haven't really been that successful. And so she's like, "Why don't you try this one? That's one I'm using. I'm getting hit on all the time." And I was like, "Yes, because they want to bang you. That's why it's easier for a woman than it is a man." Yeah. And I got on, and I got matched pretty quickly with this one person. And I'm always cautious with anybody I match with on any dating app because most of the time there's some scam person who wants your identification, and they'll ask you all these, very personal questions because they're trying to get information out of you. Well, this one though, I don't know what their game is, but we've been talking for a week, like all the time. And I'm like, oh, this is looking pretty good. Maybe this person's a real person. And I was like, oh, do you want to meet up on Friday? She's like, oh, I actually have plans with a friend for Friday and Saturday. I was like, okay, well then just let me know when you're free. But they still keep messaging me though. And they're not asking any kind of like personal information, like what's your birthday?
What's your social security number?
Yeah, what's your social security number? What hometown are you from? Like they're not asking any of those kind of questions that would make you think like they're looking for information. So I'm like, okay. And then they sent me this picture today. I had some from the site, but like this one was just like, oh my God, this woman is too good looking for me. And so I wrote to a younger friend of mine. I was like, look at this. I was like, there's no way this person is real. And she's smart enough to where she's like, oh, hold on. And then she like has some AI thing where she immediately got back to me and was like, yeah, this person's a politician from, and I was like, see, I knew it was a fake person, but it's just like, well, why would you talk to someone for a solid week if it's bullshit? Like, are you that bored or are you just waiting for this long con?
I think people just get off on it.
Yeah.
It makes them, people don't mind fucking with people. You're fucking with people's emotions.
Yeah.
It's like that Manti Te'o who played for Notre Dame Chargers.
Oh, right. Yeah.
And I think the Saints, he got really catfished. He was, and people saying, how could you do that? But he was, he was made fun of. It's all this crap. I mean, it's just wrong, but that's just, but I like you, a lot of people, I always think, okay, what are you trying to, what kind of scam are you going for?
Yeah. Cause that's usually my until I physically meet you, to me, you're always a fake person. It doesn't matter what you say, no matter what you send me. Like, no, you're fake. I'm not trusting you with my phone number. I'm not trusting you with anything. And so like, okay, this is weird, and then so now that I'm confirmed that this person is fake, I'm like, you've just been fucking with me for a solid week. Like, why? And it's not like they've just been normal conversations too. Like, hey, like, like, what are you making for dinner? Like, oh, I'm making this. Like, oh, okay. Then they'll take a picture of it and send them like, that looks really good. It's like, it's nothing, what's your mother's maiden name? It's nothing, it's nothing like that. Yeah.
What's your favorite color? What was the first name of your first dog's name?
Yeah. What was the street you were born on or first lived at? Yeah. All the,
Yeah, it's it's a crazy, sad world. I mean, it's just I don't know. I don't know what to say. It's just people. I think it's just people, like you said, they get behind the computer, they get behind their phone, and they don't know how to interact. I was trying to think, why are there so many fights on planes now? I mean, it is because they cram you in there. It is stressful flying because, you delays and everything. But I think it's really because people are on their phones. They don't know how to interact with people. And when you're on your phone, you're just selfish. You're just, it's all about you.
Yeah. That's our whole culture right now. Everything's always about them. And we're living in a very narcissistic society these days, which is crazy. And because, the same thing, like, how many times have you been delayed by security? But all airports are stressful as hell, and you get behind someone that's got a stroller and 3 kids, and it's like, why are you flying? And then just everything goes through it, and then you get on the plane. You're probably sitting in the very back of the plane. You're in the middle seat. They're taking up half your room, and you're like, fuck. And then someone opens a can of tuna, or some woman gets out a big bottle of lotion, and you just snap because it's all the smells, and it's just like,
Well, see, that's one thing Cindy and I do. We both book our seats aisles across from each other. If we can't, or if it's this aisle, she could be 3 rows back further up 4. We don't have to sit by each other, and neither one of us want to sit in the middle, or neither one of us want the window. So that's what we were talking about coming back from San Diego last year from Comic-Con. The first leg of the flight, this couple sitting in Sydney's aisle seat, and he goes like this. She goes, what? He goes, you got the window. And I'm like,
oh, right, yeah.
And right away I look up at the letters. I go, oh no. And the flight attendant was right there. Is there a problem? I go, yeah. I go, my wife has this seat. And they just looked at us like they were pissed at us for being
correct
for a second date, for being in the thing. And so I said, look, I'll sit here. You don't have to sit next to him, because he was a dick. And the whole flight, he's like sticking to. I go, I don't care. I lean out to the aisle anyway. I'm not gonna complain. And so the second leg, we upgraded to business. It was like $49 per seat to go business. I come in, I go, what the fuck? There's a whole family sitting in one row, but one guy's in my seat. And he goes, excuse me, I think you're in my seat. He goes, you want the seat? And I go, yeah, I want the seat. That's what I paid for. I go, he goes, you want my seat? I go, where's your seat? It was all the way to the back of the plane. I go, no. I go, I paid to upgrade for this seat. He goes, you want to sit? Because there was no one sitting. There was no when you sit in the middle seat, but there was a big guy sitting by the window. And he goes, next to Cindy, he goes, you want to sit next to your wife? I go, no, I don't want to sit in the middle. I want to sit here in this seat. Going back and forth. I go, look, I don't want to keep going round and round with you.
Right. You're in my seat.
I go, this is I paid for my seat. I go, so he got up, and then he must have called his wife, because they were speaking a different language. So the daughter turns and looks at me, and I go, they're talking about me, aren't they? I go, I'm sorry. I'm not going to sit in the middle when I paid, I go,
right.
He was in the back of the plane. What the fuck? I just people.
He knows he did wrong. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just people
don't want to admit it. People are just, they're, no. You'll get over it. You'll move on.
I could see if someone was sitting there. I'm sorry. I didn't know I was hoping no one was coming to use the seat, but hey, it's your seat. Go ahead and take it.
Right.
I'm not going, why do people just assume maybe people do give it and say, fine, And John says that we know that language was French.
Absolutely.
It may have been, I don't know, but that's why when we're going out to San Diego this year, we're flying Southwest, and I hate flying Southwest.
I don't think I've ever flown Southwest.
You don't get a ticket; it's a voucher.
Oh,
and you have, and it's first come first. I mean, you get A, B, C.
Oh, right,
D,
yeah.
But we're paying extra so we can get the. I figure as long as we can get as long as you're a B, you'll get a good seat. If you're a C, you're screwed.
Right.
But I've had times where Southwest, where I remember when we first moved out here, my daughters were like 13 and 11 or something like that. Randy loves Southwest. Well, that's you, Randy. But we landed in Phoenix, get off the plane, and they go, and it's just they kept announcing since I go up. I go, what's the problem? They go, we need people to give their seats. We're giving vouchers. I go, why? They go, well, there's not enough seats. I go, we're booked. I go, well, I have 3 tickets. He goes, no, you have 3 vouchers. I go, well, what does that mean? Yeah. It means that we. So at one point they said we can only get 2 of you on the plane. I go, you know what pisses me off? The plane I was on was going to Ontario, California, which is about an hour and a half from San Diego. Right. I just stayed on the plane, rented a car, and drove to San Diego. We ended up being delayed like 8 hours.
If you can make it from Ontario to San Diego an hour and a half, you're doing pretty damn good.
Maybe it's an hour and 45 minutes. Maybe it's 2 hours. Maybe it's 2 hours. It's been a while since because Ontario.
The 15's better than the 5, but
Ontario, California. If you're from Ontario, California, I apologize, but it's the armpit of the world.
Oh, the Inland Empire. There's nothing really that great. Claremont and Redlands are about the only 2 good cities.
Yeah, it's pretty disgusting. That was the first time I had In-N-Out Burger. Because I got this is before we had, MapQuest and, GPS. And my wife gave me the directions, but she was off a street. So I got lost. I'm just driving in circles. I go, what the? So I called the hotel. I go, so then he gave me the wrong direction. I go, you know what? If you fucking clean your goddamn street signs, maybe I could fucking tell where I'm going.
It never rains.
It never rains. And they were white signs, but they were all covered with dirt and soot and all this other crap. And I'm like going, well, this just sucks. This just sucks. So I went to In-N-Out, and when they opened up the thing, I drive through, there were French fries and crap all over the floor. I'm like going, ugh. So that's why maybe I have
a bun patty bun.
Yeah, bun patty bun. Well, I just don't think In-N-Out is that great.
I think it's one of the most overhyped restaurants or fast food places in the U.S. by far.
I agree. And speaking of overhyped, and
the Boston Celtics. Yeah.
Fuck you guys.
and everyone in the chat, hey, let's all wish Chris a happy birthday.
Oh yeah, he's old.
Yeah, he's old now.
He's no longer the.
We've just been shooting the shit about. We've just been shooting the shit about flying and colonoscopies and stuff like that.
Oh, I gotta get one of those done this year, I think.
I just said they're no big deal. Like, Randy said for Nick, it'd be a colonoscopy would be a second date. He was getting scammed by some.
He was getting catfished. That person I was telling you about last night or night before last. Chris.
Oh no.
Yeah, well, I mean, it makes sense, because so just to do a quick recap of what I was telling Jack is that I've been talking to this person for a week solid, and all the questions, all the things that we talk about have been normal conversations. None of this like what's your mother's maiden name or what city were you born in? It was like nothing that would be I'm looking to get money from you. And then she sent me a picture today, and I was like, no way, you can't be. No way a girl that looks like you wants to date a guy like me because it's just she's too smoking hot. And so I sent the picture to a friend of mine, and she's like, hold on. And then she ran through AI and was like, yeah, this person's from Venezuela. They're a politician. I was like, okay, thanks. Good to know.
Oh, no.
So I was like,
well, good thing you caught it, dude.
Yeah, because I mean, I'm probably going to write them back and fuck with them a little bit, But
yeah, dude, stringing along for sure.
Yeah. I would say that you're traveling the world because of.
Thank you for the birthday wishes, everybody. Appreciate it.
Maybe let them believe that you're filthy rich or something like that. Just.
Well, at first I was like, oh, okay, and that's like I was saying to Chris, like I sent Chris this picture because Chris and I both, have dabbled in cryptocurrency, and this person sent me like how many Ethereum coins they had, and I was like, holy shit. And that's the first red flag. I went, you're probably, because no normal human being would send that type of information to someone they do not know. No. And and especially the amount that they sent. I was like, you're basically telling me that you're a millionaire. Right?
Yeah, usually if you're bragging about being rich, you're not rich, because the rich don't want to tell anybody they're rich. Right. That's why you never hear me bragging about money.
The fuck is your picture behind you, Jack?
It's the cover of the thing.
Yeah, they see his mind.
Nancy Reagan.
Yeah.
That wasn't planned, by the way.
Come on, John. That's mean.
Let's see. What did John, the retired guy, say? Nick sent the lady's picture to Matt and said, "Oh, no. Okay." Anyway, well, Matt's not here. We can't pick on it. No, what I did is on my thumbnail, I just said music. That was the first thing that popped up. I go, okay, that's what we're going with. That's what you do when you're a producer.
Right there, bud.
When you're a producer, you just kind of if you don't want to take a lot of time, just pick the first picture.
Yeah. Sorry for being late for the show this evening. I literally just got home like 15 minutes ago. That's it. Dog out for a piss.
It's all right.
My dinner.
Nice. It's healthy. So I go ahead.
Going back to just airplane flights real quick. So, United is the Denver hub. So that's mostly what you're going to fly out of Denver. And the things I know I've bitched about this at least one time before on this podcast at some point. The trend that's pissing me off the most is people, because there's no order. Like you can be in group 1 or group 3, but it's not depending on where your seats are. It's just how important you are to the airline. And there's a lot of people that will be in like those high groups, but they're in the back of the plane. And what they'll do is when they get on, they'll put their luggage almost in first class. Like they'll put the overhead bins, and then they'll walk to the back of the plane. And so the people that are up in the front of the plane, when they finally get on, there's nowhere for them to put their stuff. And it's like, what the fuck? And it's just, and all it is for the convenience of the people in the back of the plane, that when they get up to walk forward, they can just grab it as they go. And it's like, I get the wisdom behind it, but you're still a fucking dick.
Plus the plane, kind of a baller move, though.
Yeah, it is.
Plus the plane is empty by then.
Fuck you and your free caviar first class. Put my shit up here.
Well, you can't put it in first class. Mm-mm. No way.
They won't let you put it first.
No, but no, they should really stop that. And I never understood why you get on a flight and why do they load the back last? It's like, it's like, what the fuck? And again, my biggest problem is what takes people so long to fucking sit down?
Yeah. Oh, and then I get it.
Sit the fuck down.
The pet peeve that really gets me, though, I mean, it's just me being me, but it's like, why as soon as the plane fucking touches down, do people stand up? It's like, you still have to get to the gate, and they it's like you're going to be standing for like 20, 30 minutes. It's like,
if you do, well, first for me, I like to stand up because I've been sitting too long on my back.
I get that.
I'm like a pretzel, but I also stand up so people in the back don't come rushing through. And now if they're late for a flight, I'll let them pass by. But not the people just insist on getting, like a driver cut you off. Mm-hmm. Yeah, someone that cuts you off, because they want to get one car link further.
What would Jay do? It's the zipper method, Jack. It works.
But no, I do like that, because I hate when people, like when they're pushing on you and they pull their bags down, they hit you with the bag, or when they're getting on, they have a backpack.
Yeah, that drives me crazy.
The backpack, and they're so clueless that they're hitting everybody on the aisle with their backpack. It's like, because they're, whoa. So what I do is I carry my backpack in front of me sideways, so I'm not hitting anybody. See?
Yeah.
It's called being polite.
Mm-hmm. So you actually bring up a point I wanted to make of a purchase I've made, because I'm actually flying next Thursday, going to Chicago. But I bought this bag, Jack. I'm trying to share a screen if you wouldn't mind allowing me to share it.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
This brand is called Cotopaxi. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of Cotopaxi. I love this brand. In fact, I actually have this. I have this bag here, which is kind of good. This is a day bag from them.
Sounds like a tank.
I'll show you in a second. Do you guys see my video as well?
Yeah.
Okay, so I've had this bag for a number of years. I think I found out about these guys on Kickstarter, and it's just actually a really cool company. Like, there's like it's Gear for Good, so it like the proceeds go and help out different charities for, I believe specifically for women. Let me pull it up real quick while I have it here. So our mission, blah blah blah. At least 1% of the revenue to nonprofits that have communities experiencing poverty, et cetera. Gear for Good for communities in
Gymnastics.
need. Reducing inequality, and then I think when I first did it was for like specifically for women like in Africa or whatever it was. I'm not quite sure. Anyways, I fell for this ad on TikTok for the company I already love, and it's fantastic. But this might be a little too big, so I think I might go to and swap it out for the smaller bag. But this is the bag I picked up. It's the 42 liter. So they measure the size of the packs, but it's carry-on rated. So if I look at the bag here, it's actually pretty awesome. So it is a backpack that you can hide.
That is nice.
You can hide the straps behind here if you want to, and when you open it up, it's full of different compartments and such. So suitcase style, all different compartments and all that type of shit. It is kind of big.
Will it fit under the seat in front of you?
So I don't know about in front of you. The smaller bag will. This is the larger of the bag. Let me see if I can go into the. Oh fuck, that is pretty big, isn't it?
Yeah,
looks like a parachute.
While Chris is looking at this, we would just like to say that the Ramblecast is in no way inform a sponsor of this backpack. At least Jack.
So I'm pretty stoked about it.
Consultant.
Yeah, I've used their stuff for a while. It's just a really cool company. I might actually bring up to REI and get it swapped out for the smaller one, but this is like my day. I use this every day. This is like my backpack, like I use for whatever, for work and stuff. Yeah. It's awesome. The company's really great.
My backpack I got from Apple about 8-9 years ago.
Those are horrible. Oh, yeah. They're like those little string ones. Yeah, they're terrible.
Well, I don't put the backpack on my back. Yeah, exactly. Well, then it's dragging on the ground. But what I usually do is I put it on my shoulder. I can't do the backpack on my back. I can't. People got beat up for doing that. I know it's cool now, but it wasn't cool then.
Well, that's why. 1 second. That's why. Like Gen X and early millennials. That's why our backs are all fucked up, because it was cool to walk with the backpack just on one shoulder, and so we always kind of walked with a tilt. So we've got a whole generation.
What's the movie 21 Jump Street with Jason Tatum and not Jason Tatum, Channing
Tatum,
yeah. And what's his name? He said he's got the backpack on his shoulder, and everyone else is, no, this is the cool way. This is the cool way. But yeah, I don't do that. But anyway, at this point, we're going to take a commercial break. And as Jackson said, this would be a good backpack for the amazing race. Lightweight, could hold all your stuff.
So Randy, when it's just Jack and I have to fill Matt's shoes, and so I really get aggressive when it's just Jack and I. But when it's just me and Jack, I can actually have room to talk, because any other time I'm just interrupted constantly because they don't want to hear my bullshit. So.
I did want to talk about something. I wrote it down. You got Al Pacino, Robert De Niro. Now Al Pacino is 83 years old.
Yeah,
Robert De Niro is 79, and Robert De Niro just had a baby.
Mm-hmm.
And Al Pacino's going to have one soon.
Yeah.
I'm like,
29-year-old. Good for him.
And again, I don't like judging people. But personally, I think it's wrong.
I do too. Yeah.
Because you're not going to be there for your child.
Exactly.
Now, anyone
get a chunk of money, but what good does that do?
Let's be real for a quick second. All of that money will be there for that child, as will that child's stepdaddy when they pass away, and those 29-year-old girls go and remarry somebody else. But
still, I personally couldn't do that. I think it's.
No, I mean, exactly.
There's no guarantee in life.
You're about 700 million short.
Yeah, well, that's true, but I'm still a little young for those women.
Yeah,
still a little young. But I again, there's no guarantee. I could have. My wife could have had a baby, and I could have got hit by a bus the next day. I get that, but I was reading that going, First, I go, why would you want a kid at that age? I get that people in Hollywood don't take care of their kids. They have nannies and stuff like that. I get that. But I was like, I go, what the fuck with these two old guys? Hooah!
Son of a woman.
Do they have other kids?
Oh yeah,
yes.
Absolutely.
I think it's Al Pacino has a kid that's 50 something.
Holy shit!
Yeah, so it's like you're my brother. You could be my grandpa.
Dude, how pissed are his other kids? Are like, oh man, Daddy Pacino has probably got maybe a good 10 years of that, bringing this good chunk of change, and all of a sudden that inheritance just got cut in the thirds.
And you know what? The kid, when he finally learns how to talk, he's going to ask Al Pacino's older child, son, you ever sat on your balls? Because he's at that age where he would sit on his balls, right?
Right.
With all that experience, I could be a babysitter with the stars.
Yeah, but like
true.
Not that my family is loaded or anything, but my mom doesn't trust anybody, and she's also one of the most stingiest people I've ever known in my life. But like, she told me that years ago. She's like, she goes, if I go first, I want you to know that you're going to be okay. I was like, what? She's like, yeah. She goes, I got it in my will to where like, your dad gets a stipend, but that's it. Like, he can't remarry and like take all the money. I'm like, okay, good for you.
That
Mom.
works for me.
Yeah, but because she doesn't trust anybody. She's like, no, my kids are always first. Like, like it doesn't matter. And she goes, I want to make sure that they're taken care of.
I know my youngest daughter, we had the business in San Diego. We had a huge life insurance to cover the business and everything else. And my daughter goes, okay, well, would that be mine? If I go, no, it's going to go to my sister, and she's your god. She's going to take care. She goes, but what happens if she dies? Oh, well, they go to this person. Okay, can you just tell me how many people are going to have to die before I get the money?
Right.
She was like 8 or 9 at the time. I'm not telling you that because I'm afraid you're going to go kill them.
Right.
So, and me.
I mean, because you got to think that, like, especially like Prince Charles, when he's so old by the time he becomes king, you're like, I hope mom doesn't have an accident on the stairs, or even Harry now, even though he's probably disowned now, but like, it's like, well, William, I hope nothing happens to you, but but even now, though, his kid would become king, though.
Yeah.
Before Harry would, but
yeah, Harry's just a guy. I mean, he's just
an idiot.
He just I don't think I could live that life.
No,
I couldn't live in a fishbowl like that, and you have to do the print. Who knows what's going on? If the whole, it's a mess, and I actually feel bad because you're like, okay, you always, you should, no matter what your parents do, I have always thought, for the most part, you should, kind of respect your parents. But
yeah,
but again, I don't know what's going on with all this stuff. I just, there's so much hearsay, and
I think, of all of them, I think I feel sorry for Harry the most, though, because he seems to be a troubled man, and that. Not that we have to get into British royalty talk because who cares? But
I don't give a fuck
exactly.
about British royalty.
Exactly.
His wife's attractive though.
Yeah, but like I mean, like
whose wife?
Harry.
Both of their wives are unbelievably attractive.
Oh yeah, Harry. Yeah. But I just because you remember when he was a kid, he dressed up as a Nazi, for Halloween, and then he got so much shit for that. But then he ends up going to Afghanistan and Iraq, and you're like, he actually seemed to be like a royal of the people in a way of like, hey. I'm going to
like his mom, because we're not 100% sure his dad is Prince Charles or King Charles, right?
Right. Yeah, I mean the oldest one, yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
But the younger one, you're not sure. But then and then you kind of feel. I mean, I don't know. Like that, I just call it like.
And Jerry Springer's not around to figure that shit out either.
Right. Yeah. we still got Maury. You are not.
You are not. You are not the royal father.
Yes. But yeah.
That's fantastic.
But
Camilla.
I see it, with Meghan though. I just see it the way it looks. It looks like she was just someone who wanted to be famous, someone who wanted to be important, and she's just a manipulative.
But
she was already famous. I guess not that.
Well,
famous.
not really.
I don't know nearly enough about this entire situation to even have an opinion as to what happened. I couldn't tell you how far removed. I'm like worse than King Ralph. Am I far removed from this whole situation?
That was definitely the best king British has ever had.
Yep.
I liked that movie. Been a long time.
We have a newbie in the chat.
We do?
Liliana?
I have never seen that name. That is true.
Welcome to the chat, Liliana.
Denmark.
Is she the one from Denmark? Maybe we've never seen the picture then or something.
Liliana, am I correct?
She's probably my catfish. I don't know.
That could be true. That could be true. Yeah, I don't know the whole British stuff going on because I don't know. There were, I mean, you see their crown that they put on it. It's probably worth billions. I go, how many people could that crown feed that are starving? But
Belgium.
Belgium.
Fuck.
In Bruges.
Isn't that the same thing? Denmark and Belgium?
Nowhere near.
I was close. I mean, at least I was in, kind of close.
No, you're Northern European, maybe, but that's about it.
You're on the same continent, but that's about it.
Hey, that's better. I could have said Canada, right?
There's nothing wrong with Canada.
I didn't say there's anything wrong with Canada. I'm saying I could have said Canada, then I'd been way off.
Randy says waffles and beer.
Right.
Well, waffles and beer.
And Bruges. It's like a little fucking fairy tale.
I fucking love that movie, man.
I love In Bruges. Yeah, it's so good.
Okay. Has everyone seen the finale of Ted Lasso?
That's what we were gonna get. So we got Succession, Ted Lasso, and Barry all ended on the same.
I haven't even started Succession and Barry. I'm going to do that next week because I can.
Like season 1?
What the hell's wrong with you?
No. I have season 3. I haven't finished. I haven't done the last seasons of each one of them. But
I am
way off on TV.
I won't spoil Ted Lasso, but Chris was a great recommendation by you.
Holy fuck! It took the entire series for you to recommend or to acknowledge it.
But it's not about you.
I was shocked that today Colleen actually agreed with me in that I think season 1 and season 2 of Ted Lasso are damn near perfection. And then they're so good. Yeah. Season 3 to me, in a lot of ways, was a big. I wouldn't call it a miss, but it's a lot of the time jumps and then a lot of storylines that went nowhere and a lot of it was just it could have been so much better in a story that's about people changing and the people learning and adapting and being there for each other. The third season the last 2 episodes fucking awesome.
Money.
And that's what I felt is that
they knew 3 or 4 behind.
Yeah, they knew how they wanted to.
You should watch it, Chris. It's a great.
They knew how they wanted to end the show, but to get to the ending, it felt rushed and. No, it's I'll give you an example. You take
Matt Tree says season 3 is a mess.
It is a mess. Yeah, Matt, I mean that's a good way to say it. Yeah, because to me, there's so many characters that we love that were kind of sidelined in this season, especially Rebecca. And I love Rebecca, but she's just not in it the way I wanted her to be. It ends fine, but
the final episode, I'm just going to say she had me tearing up.
Yeah, exactly. It's so good. But then, you look at Nate, though. The way I can say it is because if Chris has seen enough episodes, he knows. At the end of season 2, you have Nate basically discarding
Darth Vader.
Yeah, Darth Vader. Yeah, you have him discarding Ted. You
have new Darth Vader.
You were the father figure I wanted, and I didn't get it. And you see him join the dark side. And I really, if you wanted to knock a home run with season 3 with Nate's storyline, it should have been him almost embracing Rupert and all the evilness that is Rupert. But you don't get that. And then
can I disagree with you on this one?
No. 1 second.
Because okay, go ahead.
But then the thing when it finally comes to a head, when Nate makes his decision, I wanted to fucking see that, and you didn't.
I agree.
It just went over it. And then even look at the last episode, since Chris has his headphones off, spoiler, everyone out there, when he pushes that coach down, Rupert pushes him down the ground. Why couldn't that have been Nate a few episodes earlier, or something? Because I wanted to see that conflict to where it really pushed him back.
problem is Nate was doing everything Rupert wanted.
Yeah.
So he wasn't going to go. The other coach is like, no, that's bullshit. I ain't doing that.
Right.
But where I'm going to disagree with you on Nate, it was a good person. Nate said he had to have the good. He went to the dark side and he came back to who he really was. And when he got his girlfriend, that changed his whole life. There was a reason for it. Yeah. I like season 3. It's not it's not the best. The last 2 episodes are just amazing. And I think the finale is one of the best endings to a show, which is the hardest thing to do.
And before Chris puts his headphones back in, I couldn't believe that Chris and I 100% nailed the ending of Ted Lasso. The last shot is exactly what Chris and I said it was going to be, and that's what it was. And I was like, "Holy shit, we're right!" But anyway, okay, we can end this now. Let Chris join back. But.
Yeah, and then you can come back, Chris. And then Matt Tree said Marvelous Miss Maisel just ended.
Oh, that's right.
It's a great show, but I think they blew the ending. It should have. Matt Trees, correct me if I'm wrong. You guys don't watch it, right? Minor spoiler here. It should have ended when she was on the show, getting the standing ovation with everybody applauding. We knew all the other. They tried to do something at the end, and for me, it was like, I don't need this. So I that's when I said, because I said, oh, I even turned to my wife and said, this is a great ending. Well, it didn't end. So I'm like going, again, it doesn't ruin it, but I think they blew the ending. They Nancy Reagan it.
Yeah, this is a Marvelous Miss Maisel.
Marvelous Miss Maisel.
Not Ted Lasso, Chris.
You're on mute, Chris.
Yeah.
So Marvelous Miss Maisel.
It's an excellent show. If you haven't seen it, it's got heart. It's funny. Yeah. But yeah, I was a little disappointed with the ending there. It's like, I just would have ended it there. I don't know, Matt. What do you think, Matt Treese?
I think
Matt Treese, who caught a foul ball caught a home run ball at the Durham Bulls game.
Oh, that's awesome.
Oh, no shit. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, was that recent?
I think
we went to the get together.
Raleigh meetup. Yeah.
When was that?
Couple weeks ago.
A couple weeks ago.
Oh.
Yeah, Chris. We were busy living our lives.
Yeah. Like I said, I only went to the game. I was a mess.
Joking for everyone who went. I'm just kidding. I'll probably try my best to make it next year if I can.
Hasn't seen the finale yet.
It's hard, man. It's hard to It's hard. I mean, making these travel plans is as hard as it is. Like,
it really is.
I've heard rumors it might go to a different city. So I'm like going. I suggested Vegas, but even Atlantic City. I said, I could do Atlantic City, somewhere where there's things to do.
No one Atlantic City.
Atlantic City's a dump.
Yeah,
but still, Atlantic City is the only place where I've gambled where people come in and ask you for money.
Okay.
It's like, what?
I always like the line in Eddie and the Cruisers 2, I think. There's an old movie.
Okay, I only saw the first one. I said, I'm not doing a second one.
Yeah, the second one it's not. Yeah, they're both.
It's like Caddyshack too.
Yeah, they're both cornball. Yeah, just whatever. But he's talking to this girl and he's like, yeah, it's like New Jersey, man, it's the best place to live. And she goes, oh, really? She goes, why is the Statue of Liberty face the other way? So it's like, yes. It's like, that's a good one.
That's a great line. Great line.
Yeah. Shit, what was I gonna say? But yeah, I think endings of shows are hard because even with Barry and Succession, I respected both of those endings, but it's still one of those things that's what you did. Okay. But it's never there's very few times where I'm like, fuck yes, that's a fucking ending. It just doesn't happen that much. Even you can even make that argument with Battlestar Galactica, it's such a good show, and then some people still didn't like the ending. It's like, oh, you did that, okay. Yeah.
Well, I got what they were doing with the ending there.
Right.
Great example is actually the show that I just finished watching was season 2 of Hunters on Amazon Prime. You guys ever watch that at all? Speaking of Al Pacino, really?
Yeah.
Oh shit! It's a recommend for sure.
Does he have a baby on the show?
No. So the TV show Hunters, it's on Amazon Prime. It takes place. Season 1 takes place in like 1970.
They're hunting Nazis, right?
Yes.
Oh yes,
Okay.
I remember when that was. Yeah.
Okay. Season 2 came out recently, and that's it. Like, they're only doing those 2 seasons. And the ending was kind of like, huh. No, it wasn't bad, right? It wasn't bad. It was like, I'm like,
they brought Hitler back to life. Is that what happened?
Well, no, I'm not gonna get into the story. I don't want to have any spoilers about the story. But the story, it's actually really fucking good. The second season was like they did a little bit of a time travel thing, not time, like a timeline bounce back and forth between like a 3 or 4 year difference, and how they kind of handled that. But like the ending of it was like, oh, okay, like they did it in a way where it's like they could totally do another season, but then they announced they're not going to. So it's like, oh, fuck, you know.
Well, probably Al Pacino doesn't want to do a 3rd season. I mean,
but I mean, it was.
Yeah.
I mean, it was. Yeah. I mean, he's got a nursery to build. You know.
Exactly.
Like, it was worth the price of admission, though. So I mean, I give it a recommend. Hey, but another topic of TV discussion, talking about like endings and whatnot. Can somebody give me the TLDR version of all this bullshit that's going on at Lost?
That's a long ass article.
I haven't read it. I haven't read it yet, but I'm going to be part of a panel with Ralph on Tuesday about it. I hear it's really bad, but I'm going to. It's Vanity Fair. I haven't read it yet, but I'm going to read it. And
like, who's the prick bastards that caused all this bullshit on set?
Well, I think they're throwing Carlton Cuse under the bus.
Like,
yeah,
really?
He's coming off looking bad from what I've heard.
The only part I read about it was early on with Harold Perrineau. Is that how you say his name?
Yeah.
Yeah, because they're talking about how, Damon basically requested that Carlton Cuse join because he found himself overwhelmed with the weight of this show after the pilot. And he knew that Carlton could run what he needed to run while Damon could just sit and write, and try to do the writer's room. And like I said, it was a long, long ass article, so I didn't read the whole thing. But when they're talking about Harold anyway, is that Harold did not like where his character was going, especially after season 1, when they took the kid, Walt, and the way it was kind of written was that he almost didn't care about Walt, and he basically said, I don't want to be this absentee black father who doesn't care about his son, and he, like I said, I just kind of skimmed it, but it was talking about how there was some pushback, and he basically kind of gave of what Carlton Cuse interpreted as an ultimatum. Like, if you don't do the character the way I want it, then I'm leaving the show. And so Carlton just basically said, okay, fine, we'll write you out of the show. And then that's what happened. And so there's a lot of bitterness started kind of there, and then it just kind of snowballed along the way. And like I said, I didn't read past that, but
I'm gonna like I said, I've been listening. I go, what the hell's going on? Because
people are all fucking upset and shit. Like, I was like, Jesus.
So I'm gonna, like I said, I'm gonna be part of a panel. First I thought it was just a panel about Lost, and my wife goes, "Isn't it about this? Some guy wrote an article." It was like, I guess it's a female who wrote the article, right? I think so. It's Mo, whatever it is. And I'm like going, well, I can't be really objective when it comes to Harold Perrineau. That's all I'm gonna say. Yeah. I can't.
The guy.
I got it.
Yeah.
I know. I have.
You never heard of it. Never heard it.
What happened?
You don't know the story? Come on.
You don't know.
Do I not know the story?
It's Jack's told the story like 40 times.
Yeah. We're at a meet and greet. Photographer for ABC introduced us to Harold Perrineau. Actually, it might have just been me at the time. And he comes up and he goes, yeah, I've never heard of you guys. I go, we got about 1 or 2 listeners. Might want to give it a try. He goes, yeah, whatever. And walked away.
Right.
No shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the guy that was a photographer goes, I'm so sorry. I go, nah, it's no big deal. I don't care. Yeah. And then when we're on the red carpet, he looked at Jay and I went, nah, and walked away from us. And I'm like going, I've always spoken highly of his character. I don't know what the hell's wrong with him.
Wow.
Again, I don't know what we did to him. Like I said, maybe he didn't like my smart ass remark when I said, well, we got 1 or 2 listeners. You might want to give it a try.
I never knew that.
Yeah. What was I supposed to say when he's like, yeah, I've never heard of you.
Exactly.
I go, well, yeah, I my son.
Yeah, you should have said exactly. My son listens to you.
You should be like, at least I'm not a fucking absentee father.
Right.
Yeah.
You would have made the book, Jack. You would have made the fucking book.
I would have made the book. Anyway, that was. I mean, like he could have been having a bad couple days. I don't know, but like I said, he looked. It was funny because the writer guy, he was a really good. He's the camera guy, the photographer. He's a really great guy. And he was like, I'm so sorry, because we just met him that night, and because I was pretty drunk because I hadn't eaten all day, and we got into this ABC party, and they're bringing Mai Tais. I'm just drinking Mai Tais. Is there any food?
Right. Oh, is this when you guys were in Hawaii?
Yeah, sunset on the beach. Yeah, and all the other. I mean, Daniel A. Kim and Jeff Faraday. Fahey was. He was. We were talking about the expensive toilet they had in the. It did everything for you. It was like a $10,000 toilet. But everyone was really nice, but like Michael Emerson was really nice. I mean, but this guy was like, I go, did I piss in his Wheaties? I don't know what I did. I literally don't know what I did to piss him off. But
that's what's funny. Is like that's one of the things I thought was funny because it's in that article is talking about how like he was actually like a big draw to get on Lost because up until Lost, he had been in like some really good movies. He'd been in Oz,
Matrix.
The Matrix, Romeo and Juliet, sadly. But but like he'd been and so he was a star on the rise. And then after that, you don't hear anything about
disappeared.
Him.
Yeah.
He's been on a lot of shows. But like I said, I don't like the way they handle his character at the end. Mm-mm. I never liked the ending for even though the actor himself, but I thought he got a raw deal. Why was he the only one? Why did he have to be Whispers with all the shit that Ben did and everything else? How is this guy the bad? He's the bad. He's the worst of the worst. But
right.
I'm going to read the article and be part of it. Ralph even said, if you don't want to be part of it because it could get cut, I go, I don't care. How bad could it be? But I know it's pretty bad, but we shall see. No matter what happens, if it was true or not true, I'm still going to love the show.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't go back on that.
But that's, when I finished Ted Lasso, that's kind of how I felt was like, last season of Lost to me was like the last season of Ted Lasso in that I like the ending of Lost. I like the ending of Ted Lasso. I just think that the last season, the way how they got there could have been done a lot better. It's still a good show. I still would highly recommend Ted Lasso. It just wasn't what I wanted.
Maybe like Game of Thrones, they should have done more episodes.
Well, Game of Thrones was a shit show after season 4.
Well, I know, but what I'm saying is towards the end, because they just slammed it up against the wall. Wow, right. Here's the ending. Again, I like Ted Lasso. I thought it was.
No, I do too. Yeah.
I can't wait. I'm gonna do a rewatch here soon, eventually.
And that's what I know. I've said that before too. That's what I've liked about the current trend within TV is that with Ted Lasso or a lot of these shows that are only 2 or 3 seasons of 10 episodes, you can knock those things out in a rewatch so quickly. Right. Mm-hmm. Whereas if you went like you, Jack, you go back and watch MASH, you're like, oh my God, like that's dedication.
And I have gone back and I rewatched seasons 1 and 2 already. And when you do that, you'll find humor that you missed.
Right.
There's like these little presents you can open up along the way because like a subtle camera like tilt or like a reference to something or a smirk on someone's face. Like one of my favorite things to do when watching Ted Lasso is to try and see if you can catch characters breaking. Because it happens, it does, and like you can see like what's his name, Phil Dunster, Jamie Tart, like he breaks all the time. Like if you catch it, you can see him breaking all the time because it's like the majority of the dialogue that he's involved in or around with like Roy. It's like you can't help but laugh, right?
Yeah.
So there's a lot of those moments.
Well,
I'm looking forward to watching it, but that's like I think I mentioned before. This is the one show that I watch with my wife, who's terrible at watching TV. So it's like for us to watch, it's like pulling teeth. So hopefully, maybe this weekend we can catch up and kind of get through the rest of the season. I think we got 3 or 4 to go.
It's funny you mentioned looking for people, breaking character and stuff like that. I always look for mistakes in TV shows.
Yep.
I always look because I took a class and the only thing I got out of the class, this TV production, was he said if you watch TV enough and you focus on not the main character, you'll see mistakes. Or you'll see the boom mic hanging down. All this different stuff. I don't know how many times I've seen Stripes, maybe 100 times.
Right.
And I never noticed that John Candy breaks character when they're in the warehouse and they're trying to learn how to do, the Army things. And Bill Murray's going on, we're 10-2. We've been kicking at 10-1. We've been kicking. John Candy, he's laughing.
Right.
But he's laughing probably because Bill Murray's so funny, not because his character is so I never had seen that before. And I went, he's laughing. He's laughing. So that is fun to do, is find characters. I never noticed Jamie Tart laughing.
I tend to watch background actors.
Yeah.
Because it's a pet peeve of mine. Basically it started back when people used to buy DVDs. The audio commentary for Almost Famous with when Cameron Crowe did that. There's a scene at the very end of the movie.
In San Diego.
There's a scene at the very end of the movie when I'm forgetting the character's name, the kid. When he's not at his high school graduation, they just read his name present. When you see Frances McDermott, when you see her like kind of do her like he's here, there's a woman behind her that is so over the top background character that Cameron Crowe, like you see, he was like, and here's my, he's so mad that he did not catch this when he made the film because like she ruins the scene, and all you can watch in that movie from that point on is that background character of her just like, like you're like, oh
like
my
obnoxious,
God.
like out of the blue, like
like
a sticks out like a sore thumb type of situation.
Well, they probably did it on purpose.
Yeah, just to get her attention on screen, and it's just.
But did it help her career?
No, of course not. But a background actor though. That's what they're not supposed to. They're not supposed to talk a lot. They're not supposed to move a lot. They're really just to be kind of just shapes in the background. And you see that like because especially in a restaurant scene, you'll see 2 people both talking at each other at the same time, and you're like, it's because they don't know what the fuck to do. And it's like, no, one person should be talking, and one person should be nodding, but not both talking at each other unless they're fighting. But that's about it. It's
funny if you watch MASH, the operating scenes. You'll see the furthest surgeon, whoever it is, they're just because they don't have any lines, or they're really not supposed to be in the shot. There's like this going as the patient's bleeding on their operating table. It was like this because they're probably just waiting for the background scene to go in. I always find that amazing, but why have them in there if they're not supposed to do anything, right? But I did see a movie this week. A movie. I saw About Your Father with Robert De Niro with his 85 kids. Mm-hmm. And it's what's the comedian Sebastian Maniscalco?
Oh, Maniscalco. I fucking love that guy. Yeah.
Yeah. It wasn't bad. I liked it. I enjoyed it. I thought it was good. Is it worth going to pay money to go see?
There's not many right now that are worth going to see in the theater.
To me, I enjoyed it. It was a good movie, but it's a cable movie probably. But I thought it's about his dad and about how his dad is. And I thought it was funny, but it wasn't like, oh my God, I'm dying. But the biggest thing is I'm at the Alamo Drafthouse. And what is the What is the Alamo Drafthouse known for?
Beer.
No, they're known for people not being on their cell phones and people talking. So this gentleman comes in late to the movie, and at this point, Cindy and I are the youngest people at the theater.
Jesus,
and we're both
Christ.
And we're both in our 60s. Because I was watching people walk in. I go, and I turned to Cindy. I go, you know something? She goes, what? And I go, we're actually the youngest ones here. These people could barely. I mean, they're almost like the president. They're walking in. It's so bad. But they're walking in. They're just
tripping over shit.
They're tripping over shit. Help! I've fallen. I can't get up. But
he ate shit today.
Yeah, he did. I felt bad for him. But then this guy walks in, and he's like 30, 35 maybe, and he's I don't know if he was drunk. He was still. I don't know what the deal was with him. And he was dressed in He had Run DMC clothing. I'm just like, because he's sitting 2 seats away from me, and he's sitting next to the other old people. I think the old people finally told on him because, he went on to order food, and they wanted to get swipe his card. He goes, "It's on my phone." So I'm like, "No, we need to swipe your card on your phone. Right. You can't use your phone. Swipe your card." So finally, he gives the card, but then his phone rings. And I'm like looking at him like this. And I just snuck in my own alcohol and poured it in my, so I had a good buzz on. And so I'm just looking at him like, dude, turn off your phone. I'm saying that in my head. I go, "You're not supposed to have your phone on." It rings like 5-6 times. He gets up and goes outside and talks on his phone. Well, he leaves another phone and his wallet on the seat next to me. I'm like going, I go to my wife. I go, she goes, "What?" I go, because I'm not talking about phone. I go, the dude has 2 phones. Yeah. Fuck, is he a drug dealer? What the fuck? He's got 2 phones?
Yes.
Probably. Yeah.
I go, what the fuck? I go, is he leaving the wallet there to tempt me? She goes, "Will you shut up and watch the movie?" I go, "Okay." Just making conversation. So then he comes back, and then his phone rings again. And then he's like going through so the lady comes over and says, "Hey, sir, you cannot be on your phone. You can't be on your phone, sir." And I'm like, "Yeah, you can't be on your phone. They're going to throw you out because you're on your phone." I'm like, ah. So then he goes, okay. Then he gets on his phone again. Well, a guy comes over and goes, "Dude, you cannot be on your phone. Don't make me throw you out of here. Stop." Mm-hmm. He gets on his phone again. I'm like, "Oh my God."
I should have thrown him out at that point. Yeah.
He goes, he goes, "You need to get out now. And he's like, I promise I won't do it again. I promise I won't do it." He stayed in there, but then he left before the movie was over. And I'm like going, unbelievable. It was like, I've never been in there where someone disobeyed the rules over and over again. Yeah. Now now to be fair, he was a big guy. Wow. So I'm like going, okay, maybe they didn't want to,
they couldn't technically throw him out.
No, he would have done. He would have done some, and he was really loud. He was laughing at the joke. "Yeah, that's funny." I'm like going, I go, "Yeah, these old people."
Were you in Jersey?
I might have been. I don't know. I'm like going, I go, "Well, that line really wasn't that funny." I'm thinking in my head. I go, there was a couple times he laughed where it was funny, but I go, "Oh my God, this is brutal." Jesus.
Did you see that video of people fighting in the Little Mermaid?
Yeah, I saw that.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
yeah.
You see just
over a pot of water,
filming,
right?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, something stupid. Yeah, and you see this woman just like filming it, and it's like a good 5 or 6 people all just like going at it, and she's like, "Well, I need to go get a refund." It's like, God. Yeah,
she kept going, "This is a child
movie. Yeah,
child movie. Sit down." And then they kept saying "my water," and they're effing this, effing that, effing this. I'm like going, I go, God, the Little Mermaid. We're fighting at the Little Mermaid.
Exactly.
But that's just the world we live in. But anyway, that was my Alamo draft story. I was like going, I was like, oh man. And Cindy goes, you paid way too much attention to what's going on there. I go, he was sitting a seat away from me. How am I not?
Well, that's the thing. She had the opportunity. You're a husband. You should realize that she had the opportunity to open a door for some type of criticism about how you handled. That's what wives.
I know. I get it. I get it. I mean,
you have to just take that one as an L and be like, yes, you're right.
Yeah, I get it. I said, well, I'm drunk too. So
because if you didn't say anything about it, you probably got in trouble for that.
Yeah, well, that's where Jack and I are similar, and that like it's just you want to have a good time, you really do, but it just takes that one seed that gets planted. Oh yeah, you're just kind of like it just distracts you, and then from that point on, you cannot focus on anything else but that.
Yeah, because it was. I mean, his phone was big too. He had some big phones. I'm like going, it's like lighting up the whole, illuminating the whole section. I'm like, oh my God, you're gonna get those people next to you. They're old. Jesus, but yeah, I was wrong because I was. How can I not pay attention to it? Anyway, I was waiting for SWAT to come in there. Take him out. But that was my story. It was a good movie. entertainment. The side entertainment was okay. It did ruin it I did miss a few scenes because I kept looking at him. I go, then I was wondering, is he testing me? I go, maybe this is part of his sting operation where he's leaving his phone and wallet there, and I take it and I get arrested.
He walked in, that guy's got some stock.
The amount of the amount of internal tension and in the moment vitriol that flows through your body when somebody is in a movie theater and fucking talking or on their phone, it is an irrational amount of anger.
Yeah.
that you only fantasize about acting on. I want to say something. I want to fucking yell at this person, but ultimately you don't.
Well, that's why so many people loved Falling Down in 90 or 91 with Michael Douglas, because that's what everybody wants to do.
Yeah.
I've been my family has my whole family, my aunts, uncles, and they said that was you. Because I get to the point where I'm going, it just what the fuck, Yeah. That's why I wanted to say to the guy, just turn off your fucking phone. What the fuck? Yeah. Just turn it off.
There should be a sequel to that movie based on today's.
Oh my god! It would just be a bunch of Gen Zs getting their asses kicked.
I haven't watched that movie in a while, but I'm gonna have to watch it again. Fellas, I've had a really bad day.
Oh man, I still want to see that movie Sisu. I haven't. I wanted to go the other day, but I didn't.
What's Sisu?
I don't know that one.
Is it seashells by the seashore?
No, it takes place. I forgot. Was it Norway or Sweden? I'm not quite. Maybe I'm completely off in the country.
Belgium,
but it was maybe it was Belgium. I don't know. But during World War II and the Nazi reign, and there's this guy who's a retired army general who's just trying to do some gold prospecting, and he gets raided up by a bunch of Nazis. And he busts out with wild violence.
I remember. I saw the trailer.
Okay, I have seen previews of that. Matt Priest says it's awesome.
Yeah,
he says Finland.
Finland.
Yeah. I want to see that.
Yeah, I wrote that down to watch. Yeah, and I forgot all about it.
I think it might already be out of theaters at this point. You got Sisu. There's The Machine with Bert Kreischer and Luke Skywalker. I'm kind of
that got horrible reviews.
Of course it did. But here's the thing: that movie got horrible reviews from writers.
Right.
But if you look at the crowd score, everyone fucking loves it.
I'm the machine.
It's probably a shit movie, but I guarantee you will laugh out loud.
I don't like to look at the reviews before I go to a movie because it will influence me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's what.
I know that's what the reviews are for.
That's what I was saying last week about Indiana Jones, Jack. It makes me not want to watch it. Yeah, I know.
Well, you're gonna watch it.
I did.
How are you not going to watch Indiana Jones? Of course you're going to fucking watch it.
I did watch some of the show last week. I'm sorry if the show goes a little long when I'm producing.
You did watch it last week?
You do.
I can't see you watching it last week.
I didn't watch the whole thing. I'm not crazy. It was kind of boring. But
we didn't even talk about Legos.
No Star Wars, no Legos.
No way, no.
I still have to watch Mandalorian. I haven't watched that yet.
Season 3 is okay. Season 2 is probably the best season so far.
Agreed.
I was gonna watch it and then argue with Matt.
Don't push him. He gets testy.
I have learned to quiet my dissenting opinions on things.
Hey, Matt was very helpful last week. I was in a predicament. I could not record, so he was gracious enough to step forward. I was funny because I was telling Nick earlier. I said I have a blood clot in my leg, and the pain was so bad I couldn't drive. So my wife had to drive.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's why I missed the first week. I had a blood clot in my.
Fucking hell! Leg. You good?
Yeah. Well, I'm taking blood thinners right now, and it's my second time I've had one in this. Basically the same spot. This one was killing me. I mean, it was like the pain, but she was driving the whole time, and she doesn't like to drive, and I do most of the driving. Man, I was about ready. I go, I'm willing to drive now because I'm about ready to have a heart attack. She would park like this. I go, it's not you have to park straight. She goes, I'm fine. I go, okay, all right. Okay, all right. So I just was sitting there.
You're like, hon, I can't open the door.
But she likes to do that thing with me where, I'm signaling a left. You're on the freeway, you're signaling left to get around the slower car. I'm looking like this. She goes, are you going to go around the car? I go, do you not see the signals on? And I'm looking. So the whole time she was driving, I go, are you going to go around this car? Are you going to go around this car? Are you going to go around this car? I'm going around this car. Which just pissed her off. But, it was fun for me. But, yeah.
So you're saying is we never learn?
No, never learn. I just said, fuck it. I'm old. I got a blood clot. I could die any minute. Now I could go into my lung. What do I know?
That's when you told me that. That's what I was thinking. I was like, oh,
yeah,
God,
it's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny because my daughter, my oldest daughter, I told open this. She had her appendix out. The thing. So we're at the Durham Bulls game, and we're discussing who had it worse because my wife parked like 3 miles away, and I'm with a cane walking to this damn thing, and my legs swell up. She goes, I just had a appendix, I just had a baby. I forget what it was. And she goes, we're going back and forth. I go, look, I could die from this. And my youngest daughter goes, he's right. I go, I win. So we're discussing who had it worse and who didn't have it worse. But yeah, that was my blood clot. And my leg is still swollen. My ankle's still swollen. To this day, it still hurts a little bit. But
damn.
As long as I'm on the pills, as long as I don't cut myself, I'm okay.
There you go.
I can't use a straight razor.
Yeah. Can't clot.
No. Can't just be.
We can always cut it.
I'm
cut
bleeding. I'm bleeding.
I'm bleeding.
But that's why I wasn't here. That's why I wasn't here for 2 weeks. But anyway.
Oh, man. Well, I'm glad you're relatively all right.
Well, luckily I went to because I don't know if you said the thing about Jamie Foxx. Was it you, Nick?
Yeah, and then Jay and Colleen both said that wasn't a true link or true story.
Yeah, I can't imagine it. I mean, there's something going on because his daughter said he'd be out, and like I said, we don't have the right to know. We don't have the right to. I mean, it's people. I see people. Oh, we should know what's going on. No, why?
No, it's his personal. Yeah,
it's his personal stuff. I mean, I think most of us love Jamie Foxx. He's a talented guy, but it's just like I don't know.
Yeah,
I hope it's not true.
Yeah, of course.
That's all I hope. And for people who are listening, the reports came out said he's paralyzed and blind from blood clot in his head.
There's one report of saying that.
Yeah.
And then his daughter, he said that he was fine and up and about, and then and it's just.
Well, Mike Tyson said he's not doing well, and he goes, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said that. I didn't mean to say that. That wasn't me saying that. I didn't say it. So whether it's like I said. Again, I'm sorry. I got to hear his voice. I can do it. I used to be able to really get Mike Tyson.
That was a pretty good Mike Tyson. Like that was a mix between Mike Tyson and Elmer Fudd.
Exactly.
Sure.
I was driving in my car, put on the radio. Like I said, when Mike Tyson was big, he was. I had him down pretty bad because he had that very high pitched voice.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't fight him. I wouldn't fight him.
I read something about him maybe a week ago. I didn't know about this story. Is that at his prime in the 80s, he actually requested he was willing. I forget what zoo it was, but he offered the zookeeper $10,000 if he could get into a cage with a gorilla who had been bullying the other gorillas. And of course, the zookeeper was like, no, because a gorilla will kill you. It doesn't matter how good you are.
I'm Mike Tyson. Pepsi. Yeah. I drink Pepsi. But he was just when he lost that fight, was it Buster Douglas that beat him?
Yeah, Buster. Yeah.
I can remember watching that fight going because my wife was watching with me, and I'm like going, he's just toying with this guy. And then when Buster Douglas won, I'm like going, can't believe that. And Mike Tyson was never. And then
Buster Douglas was. Then Buster Douglas was like a guest referee on WWF, or WWE. like a week or two after. I remember that. Like he was like the guest referee for the main event. But like, was Mike Tyson like the first like athlete that really made it big and that was tied to video games? Like I feel like he was never.
Yeah, I think he was the very first person to have a video game dedicated with his name on it.
Yeah, and dude, that game was
I never could beat Mike Tyson.
He was hard.
Yeah, and I couldn't beat Glass Jaw. No,
I beat them all. I just couldn't beat Tyson.
Yeah.
And the worst part was you couldn't just go back to where. You had
to go back. Yeah,
I had to start all over with. Oh, come on.
Well, actually, you had the code. It was double.
I didn't have
7-373. It was my fantasy football team last season. Was the code to get to Mike Tyson?
Oh, nice.
Well, I didn't know we had Sega TV, so I didn't know. But I would come home from work.
And that's what I pity about the new generation of kids, and not the Z.
Oh my God, I had it right. It was 007-373-5963. Oh, no, that's Mr. Dream. Oh yeah, that's Mr. Dream was Mike Tyson in the what do you call it? The non-Mike Tyson version of Punch Out, Mr. Dream.
There was one guy, you'd beat the shit out of him. He wouldn't go down, and he'd hit you once. I go, oh, that's just bullshit.
That's bald bull, brother. Watch out for that. It's that bald bull strike. Yeah.
I'd be like, bam, 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 bam. I go down. Boom. Son of a bitch.
I know I brought this up. It's one of my favorite pictures of the last few years is that, Mike Tyson was signing autographs somewhere and a little kid showed up.
Yeah.
I love that picture.
Like Little Mac.
Much. Little Mac, so
good.
He dressed up exactly like Little Mac doing it. And I'm like, that is the greatest picture.
It really is.
Did you ever see that where Mike Tyson was on a plane and the guy behind him was bugging him and so finally Mike Tyson turned around and hit him. and they're like, and the guy goes, Mike, and nothing happened to Mike Tyson because it was like he was irritating him.
Right.
How about nothing to do with this story, but how about that news story? That guy who opened the fucking
in Korea,
emergency door in Korea mid-flight.
How are those doors so easy to open up?
Well, they're not. You have to do a latch and then another.
I know. I get that, but it should. Why are people able to open that door once it's shut? It shouldn't open until an actual emergency or the plane has landed. I mean, you see the wind. I mean, you see these people sitting there like this going.
I mean, just thank God they were only at 700 feet, though.
Can I get some peanuts?
Yeah.
Is it too late to get up and pee?
Well, the one video I've watched of it, I die laughing because it's a Korean flight, so most of the people on the flight are from Korea.
And the song that's playing is "Suicide Is Painless."
But you see the guy who actually opened up the fucking door right there, and then the guy next to him. There's a moment where the guy who opened up the door looks at the other guy, and I just can't imagine being that guy sitting next to him. Like, don't you fucking look at me? Like, are you fucking kidding? You're not getting any sympathy from me from this situation, buddy. Like, you're like, I don't throw you out the fucking.
Well, he said he needed some air, right? Or he was claustrophobic
or something. Who knows? But
what the fuck? Those doors should not be that easy to open up. I'm sorry. Have a little child lock on it so no one can open it up.
Well, they should.
That's a scary thing, though. You don't know what's going to get. You see the thing where people get sucked out of planes, and
well, it's wild. It was the exact opposite reaction, right? So it was a wild wind going into the plane. So it was not a suction out, which is what I would have originally thought because.
No, because they're only at 700 feet.
Yeah, they weren't high enough.
They're only 700 feet, so there's no depressurization. It's suction.
I got you.
Yeah, that's why
I do like how the people.
That's why there's no mask.
Film that like this going.
Yeah,
well, you think
I better be upgraded to first class next time I fly.
Right. I always think about Lost. It's like just to me, like if I'm in that situation where something like
just gonna split. Happens,
I'm the U.S. Marshal in this situation where I'm just sitting there and a fucking piece of luggage hits me in the head and splits my skull, and I'm like, God damn it! Like I'm already pissed, and then this shit happens. That's my luck in that situation.
Because he once had a thing with Kate.
Yeah.
Can we just be honest? I mean, what was his obsession with her?
Yeah.
She wasn't like she was public enemy. Well, I get that, but she wasn't public enemy number one. Why was that he had to go after her no matter what?
I mean, why did Locke have so many knives? I mean, there's a lot of red flags in that show.
Well, Locke is crazy. I mean, Locke is. We can hunt.
Don't tell me what I can't do.
Don't tell me what I can't do. I'm a leader. Anyway, is that all we got?
That's all I got.
Is that all you have?
That's all I had.
Where's Matt when we need him?
I'm still trying to figure out how Charlie ended up in the front of the plane and ended up in the middle of the plane. How he went to the front to go to toilet, and he could do his heroin, and then the plane started breaking up. He sits in the front.
That's true.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
He's a hot.
And where were Nikki and Paulo on this flight? Nowhere to be seen.
They were wingies.
Yeah. Anyway, that's all I got. Any emails, Nick?
No, we had 2 last week, Jack. You missed those.
I heard the response to them. That was good. I still say that if people aren't getting the point of sitting on your balls being more painful, it's because you don't know what's going to happen. Nobody tells you in advance. No one comes up to you, son, someday you're going to sit on your own balls and the pain's going to be the worst pain you've ever felt in your life. That's the point. When you're pregnant, you know you have 9 months to prepare for it. Kidney stones, yeah, it's painful, but you know that they're going to be painful because people talk about it. Nobody talks about sitting on your balls. Am I right? Except on this show.
I think you're gonna get some arguments for that one.
No arguments at all. But I think I was accused of minimizing the pain of childbirth, which I didn't do. So
no one's minimizing the pain of childbirth.
I'm pleading the fifth.
Look, I mean, everyone knows Chris has
but
zero sympathy for any human being out there. He will punch you the fuck out at any sporting event if you stand up or on your cell phone. He will do it.
No, my closing argument here is actually it's quite the opposite. Like, I expect people to stand. You should be cheering for your team, especially when it's third down on defense. No. I actually get angry when
unless
people
you're old wearing glasses
don't stand.
Why can't people just do whatever they want?
Because it's actually like the was it the 9th man, the 10th man, or whatever the fuck they call it? That's home field advantage. Yeah, that's home field advantage. Like that's the whole fucking point.
But there's nothing on the ticket that says I have to stand and cheer.
Dude, there's also nothing on the ticket that says don't be a douchebag in the theaters. But well, maybe there is. But
well, they tell you don't be a dick, and they literally have a
no. My point is this: is that being the 12th man, the reason why home field advantages work so well in places where fans actually give a fuck is because they're actually contributing to the team hearing them getting cheered on, to the opposing team not able to hear their calls because the crowd's so fucking loud and raucous.
Can I ask you a question? Why does it have to be a man? Can it be 12th woman?
Oh, for fuck's sake!
Why don't we say the 12th person? 12th person.
That's where it's going. Yeah.
The 12th individual.
The individual, yeah. Why are they individuals? Why can't they be a group?
No, I stand up and cheer, and when people behind me are going
2 strikes, 2 outs, what do? You stand the fuck up, right?
Yeah.
You're third down. Every single fucking third down, when your team is on defense, you should be standing and cheering the fucking team on.
When we were
there's no exception unless you can't physically stand.
When we were Charger fans, and we would have Charger parties here every Sunday, we literally would be screaming at the television like we're at the game.
Yes.
And when the Chargers intercepted Tom Brady for a 3rd time that day, but then Marlon McCree fumbled the ball, I'm like, yeah, what the fuck? I'm surprised I didn't die that day.
I was there.
I had an emotional fucking breakdown. You were in San Diego?
Yeah.
Probably had a blood clot.
Yeah.
I was at that game. That was at the old shit stadium.
Yeah, it was the only stadium there, but it was
the only one you ever knew. Sorry.
Yeah. Well, the only one we had in San Diego.
That's what that didn't wasn't Vince Harry. It was what's his name hit that crazy fucking field goal. Well, didn't your field goal kicker get murdered that game? Someone got injured that game.
No. He choked. He choked. He was the most. They put up the graphic. He was the all-time leader in kicking percentages, except during the regular season, except for the playoffs. He missed field goal after field goal. Nate Kading. You're looking for Nate Kading.
This was, hang on, I got a picture. It was December 7th of 2014.
No, That's not, I'm talking about the playoff game between the Chargers.
Oh, I was not there for that. Sorry.
2006, 2007 season. To this day, still bugs me. I don't know how players go on with their lives when I can't forget this game. Seriously, I can't. I just, anyway, such is life. Anyway,
14. That was 8 years ago. Holy shit, man! God damn.
I know the game you're talking. Our stupid coach punted on fourth and down when we were down by like 13 points. Randy says natron means business. But anyway, I don't want this show to go on forever because I don't want my reputation to be injured. But at this time, do you have anything else you guys want to add?
No, I'm good.
Nick?
I could, but I won't.
Show us your beer, Nick. Show us your beer.
Chris has seen it before. Well, so before you joined, I was telling Jack I have a growler I need to finish. Yeah.
I bought a growler.
And Jack was like, "What's a growler?" I'm like, "It's a big ass beer.
It's a 64-ounce jug of beer."
I did not know that.
Often poured directly from the tap line.
I didn't know that because I don't stand up when it's 2 strikes on the batter. I just don't. I'm old.
Did you just one last thing? Did you guys see that high school championship get robbed? Not robbed. I mean, it's just a catcher mistake. Dumbass. You should.
Where he didn't touch home plate.
No. It was he dropped the ball on the third strike. Yeah, so the batter ran to first, and he didn't throw it to first. He just thought the game was over, and so the guys kept running, and then won the fucking game. And it's like, dude, that's a horrible way to lose
That's when you take your cleats off and you say, you know what, I'm done with baseball, because that will follow you.
Well, the Padres lost the game last night. The catcher didn't cover home plate.
Shocker.
He didn't cover home plate.
The Padres lose? No.
Yeah. Anyway, I did see that video. It's like, oh, I feel so bad for this kid.
You do, because, I mean, you're a kid.
Where's the coach say, throw it to first?
Right.
Throw it to first.
Yeah, the whole team failed.
No, you need to fucking throw it to first and to drop third strike. That should be ingrained in your brain.
Or you just pick up the ball and wait for the guy to try to come home and tag him out.
Right. Well, that's
if the guy's already got to first base.
The argument, I did not see it on the video at all. You need it from a different angle, but the argument was that he did tag him because the batter did not immediately run to first. He actually stood there and then ran, and that's what the argument was, is that the catcher picked up the ball and then touched him, and then the guy ran. But I never saw him do that. I was like,
It's funny. I was help coaching a baseball team years ago, the youth baseball team, and it's funny. The Padres lost the game a couple days before the same thing. There was bases loaded. Strike 3 hits the ground. The guy runs to first base. I go, tag home plate. I'm screaming, tag home plate. Just step on home plate. He throws it to first. It goes over the first baseman's head. And we lost the playoff game because the 3 runs came in. All the runs came in to score. I'm like going, all you had to do is step on home plate.
Right.
That's it.
But the kids were like,
exactly. 12, you don't know. That's the reason why I was not very good at baseball until I got to high school, is because I never had a coach that actually explained to me how the fucking game works. I just knew that you hit the ball, you ran to the bases, and that was
I always had I had an issue with my coaches because I knew more than they did. So I was like, sorry, I know more than you. What do you want me to do? You're an asshole. Which they're not wrong. But anyway, at this point, we thank everyone who joined us in the chat. John, the retired guy, says Manifest returns tomorrow.
Sure does.
I know you guys are excited about that.
I can't wait to hate watch it. It's gonna be great.
And they're only doing a half a season too, which is bullshit.
Yeah,
that's like half the hate. Anyway, if you'd like to become a patron, go to jjack.com, click on the part B bank up a patron, blah 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 blah. But this time we're going to thank all our patrons.
Thanks.
Maggie the Magnificent, Edgar Richter Claffler, Joanne with a Plan, and Ed, the creepy, poopy letter carrier. Thanks for what you do, and thanks for everyone what you do, and thanks for everyone who listens to us. We're still looking for subscriber 115. We went at 114 a long time. So if you want to subscribe to our show, the Ramblecast, that way you know when the next show, I don't have to post something on Facebook saying, hey, we're recording tonight. You will know because you'll hit the bell and you'll know that we're recording that night.
We would like someone from Denmark if we can get someone from Denmark.
Yeah,
yes.
Denmark. Yeah. Denmark would be nice.
I mean, Belgium's cool too. Welcome to the chat.
Yeah.
Welcome to the chat, Belgium.
Isn't she the one who had the sweatshirt?
Yeah,
that's right. Yeah. Oh, that's right. Yeah. That's not her first time. This is a return visit.
Yeah, so I remember. I'm old, but I remember.
Now. Yeah.
But that's all we got. I'm wrapping it up. Hasta luego. And goodbye.
See ya.
Bye-bye.